And it's really heartbreaking when you think about this. Um, so like one of the things, like how can we get creative so that um, those looking for employment, particularly our vets, um, now that they're civilians again, like how can we get creative to help them not only get the employment, but to get the living arrangements so that they have an actual address that they can utilize. It's just, again, so it's heartbreaking. So how can we do that? Thoughts, ideas?
Um, I guess I could go first with that. Kurt, I don't know if you have any ideas, but but I guess one of the things would be going, having, somebody at Onward and Upward, like helping them find a position. And with creating a resume, cover letter, that kind of thing, if they need it, and helping like look for a position that they could get into. That is one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, anything that we can do to help them get that employment. It'd be really cool. Uh, if there was a way that we can speak to uh like a UPS or USPS, like so that they can get like a PO box, right? So that we know that even if they don't have a job just yet, or a place to live, an address just yet, they still have something that they can utilize.
Yeah, right.
Kurt, do you have any thoughts?
I guess I'm hoping that maybe Emily might consider sharing the community online work center story and a little bit of part of that passion that Dr. Bliven has for our organization.
Okay, so Onward and Upward was started 4 years ago. To kind of help combat this sort of very issue of what someone does if they don't have, how somebody could get employment when they don't have like a computer and that kind of thing. And so we have a 6-month program where people can come in, and we 6-month program that's split into like three different phases. And through at the end of the 6 months, the person would hopefully be in a living place of their own and have a working some job, whether that was online or in person. And kind of helping them, get on their feet and like stay on their feet and not get back to being homeless, hopefully ever again. But during the 3 phases, that's that getting the employment and then they get into your own place, and that kind of thing. But initially, somebody starting the program, they would come in, and we would help them find a position. Along with teaching them about like soft skills and other like work related, like dependability, reliability, other kind of like workplace things. And once they got the position, they would have a computer that was given to them. And so they would be at this work center in like a cubicle and work the online job or position. And once they go through the program, like by the end of the program, they would be able to keep the computer that they had been using to work their online job and keep it and take it home to keep working for that same employer from working from home, their own place. Or is there anything else you want me to keep talking about?
Well, I guess this is a point we can turn over to Denise with this Live Creatively Flair. Denise, are you picking anything out here with your coaching practices and, the reality of having a business, Live Creatively Inc.? I mean, for sure, like Prosperity Pathways, it's about, finding the funds to pay for our business programs. But Denise, what are you thinking about in terms of Live Creatively Inc. serving clients who are transitioning from homelessness to, as Emily's saying, going through a 3-phase process to get their lives, to their own sustainability, and that they can have income where they have a budget for the things they want to do in life, including paying for rent or whatever else they have in mind for a home, or whatever it may be. You want to speak, Denise, on Live Creatively and how you see your coaching to be a role?
Yeah, one of the things that I coach people around is even if they had a job that's not fulfilling to them, I love helping people really think outside the box and dream big. And, oftentimes, people might want to start their own business, but they have no idea where to even begin, or what business they might even want to start. They might have a few ideas, but sometimes they have society or even their loved ones telling them that that's crazy. You'll never make any money with that, or no one's going to buy that from you, or no one's going to want that service. So I help them really hone into what it is that they want. Um, and then, I help them strategize to make that dream come true. I also help them with things like developing a business name, developing a business plan. So yeah, there's a lot of uh, little things that would go into being self-employed, or being, creating your own business. And sometimes that's overwhelming. When we think about all the things that we have to do to have our own business, we might feel that overwhelmed feeling and feel like, I can't do this. This is too much. Let me just go and get a 9-to-5 job, or whatever the case may be. But oftentimes they do have that dream and they just shut it out. They shut it out because they're so afraid, and they don't have anyone to really motivate them and help them hold on to that vision and make it come into fruition. So that's what I do in my coaching. Um, and I'm happy to help people. If you want to reach out, we can chat about what your dreams are and what you'd like. I'm happy to coach. And yeah, let's make dreams happen. Let's get creative. Back to you. You're on mute, Emily.
For some reason that likes to happen a lot. Yeah, but just like in a way, like living creative, like you have, or like living creatively.
Yeah.
Like I'm finding like ways to find another position, among other things.
Yeah, one of the reasons I started my company was because I have a disability. So as a person with a disability and so many challenges, having a typical job was very difficult. Like I would get a job and then I would have to leave it for whatever reason, because I couldn't work the hours anymore, or I needed to take off, or so that was very difficult. So I just, from a very young age, decided I'm gonna go into business for myself. I've had several different types of businesses that I've done throughout my lifetime. And some of them were, I sold Avon, I sold Mary Kay. Fun fact, Kurt, I actually sold Tupperware for a very short time. And yeah, so I've done a lot of things. I've done creative design, graphic design, websites, just different streams of income. Then I started coaching, and it's just been such a phenomenal feeling to know that you're in control of when you work and how you work, and how much you're charging for your service. Yeah, it's the freedom that comes with having your own business is just phenomenal. So I really do encourage people to live that dream, you know, create your own wealth. Because at the end of the day, that you, at least for me, and some of the people that I coach, is I help them realize that while you're working for someone else, still develop your plan, your dream, so that you can then work for yourself. Because when you work for yourself, you will be able to grow it into what you want. So you can work as much as you want, you can work as little as you want, you can just work to make sure that you pay all your bills and definitely have lots of fun. So yeah, live creatively, guys. Live creatively.
Yeah. So everybody kind of has to do, in a sense. Some maybe they're not better, different than others, but everybody has their own one way of doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt,
Absolutely.
any thoughts, Kurt?
Well, I like this whole notion of live creatively because, you know, the thing that I've been sharing thanks to Dr. Bliven is that she gave me this perspective of how I would share about how 15, 20 years ago and previous in my life, I kind of showed up to activities and occasions and just what I did. I showed up differently back then as compared to how I show up now. And she said, yeah, what it sounds like, Kurt, you're talking about is there was a Kurt 1.0 that you're telling us about, but we didn't get to meet. And, you know, now we're coming to know you as you are now, and we're getting to know Kurt Roscoff 2.0, you know, type of thing. And I guess this idea of live creatively fits perfectly in helping to explain my own story. Not to say that I want to claim all of your coaching capability, Denise, but to just say that my mind is opened up to what you bring to the table, Denise, because, you know, there was you know, a false confidence, there were fallacies, there were things that I held strong to decades ago that at the present time I realized didn't serve me as much as it could have, and for sure did not serve those I was with as much as understanding life in a different way than I do today. And so this idea of living creatively, I think, is so great because it's in this mantra of we're lifelong learners. And, you know, I'm in a water ski club that puts on water ski shows. And, you know, over the years, you know, I've been involved for 35 years with show ski. And so with our club has gone through a pretty good list of presidents now that have gotten us through this decades of history with our Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club. And I remember one a few terms ago, you know, a few presidents back in our history, you know, in our club, that the president of our club at the time had a little phrase that he used as he was discussing and people were asking what's possible. You know, he said, you know, like in a conversation with me, he would say, Kurt, I don't claim to have a monopoly on good ideas. And I think that's a great way to go about it. I think that's where your coaching comes in, Denise, is that can be such a refreshing turnaround for people's lives. Like there's another coach out there in HMP that talks about comebacks and stuff like that, you know, turn setbacks into comebacks and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we're partnered here, our podcasting ally that makes this possible. and we're powered by Transform You Media Network. The whole brand, Transform You, is about this transformative process that people can go through in their life, and the acumen of, some communities talk about the idea of helping people be the best version of themselves. And, I think that as we allow ourselves to be ready to learn from others and pick up little tips, tricks, and techniques like Dr. Bliven talks about, it can just really be elevating. It can help us take a quantum leap in our life, depending on what's all going on and what we're addressing in our lives. So Denise, do you want to speak to that a little bit in terms of, kind of what you're experiencing, and then in your aspirations being a coach, what type of things do you aspire to really have happen in our lives with you being our coach?
Well, yeah, I really hope that I could inspire people to really live big, to not just think about paying your rent this month, not just think about having food on the table for today. Really think about what kind of lifestyle do you want, right? Like when we turn on the TV and we look at these celebrities living this life, and we're thinking, oh, I wish that could be me. Why wish, right? Let's find a way together to make that happen. And I say together because no one can do it alone, right? Not even me with my company, right? I tell people how to live creatively, and I help them, be inspired, and I help motivate them, and I hold them accountable. I'm their accountability partner, their strategist partner. But at the same time, even I need help. Like all great coaches have their own coach, right? So I have my coach, and we all need someone that we can, call up and say, Kurt, I was really thinking about this. It's kind of a crazy idea. I, I talked to my husband about it, but he thinks it's a little weird. And, then I said, you know what, my mom is always going to have my back. I talked to her and she's like, Denise, are you crazy? No, don't do that. But there's something inside me that's just telling me, I really want to do this. I just really, really want to do this. And I call you, Kurt. And because you're my coach, you hear me out, and you're never going to think any of my ideas are crazy. You just have to say, okay, Denise, not crazy, but how can we work together to make this happen? What are your thoughts? What's your vision for this business or this crazy idea that you have? And by the way, let's stop calling it crazy, right? Let's just talk about this awesome idea that you have, and how can we really bring it to life? So that's one of the things that I truly encourage people to have, that one person, at least one person, that will never say your ideas are crazy. All your ideas are brilliant, right? And we're going to make them all, we're going to figure out a way to make it happen. And if we can't get them all to work out, we'll get at least one or two to work out, right? So have that person on your side. Not to say that the other people don't love you. Of course they do. And sometimes out of pure love, they don't want to see you fail and get hurt. So with tons of love, they tell you that the idea is crazy and don't do that. But that one person that you'll have on your side, that they're still going to tell you like it is, right? But they're going to hold on to that vision with you, and they're going to help you grow it. And that's what I hope to be for those people working with me, is be that motivator, that cheerleader, that woohoo, let's get this going. That's the type of people that we need in our lives. I hope that answers your question. Sometimes I kind of start in one area and go off into a whole nother area.
Yeah, that was a great response. Yeah, great explanation of everything. Good allusions to picturing real relationship dynamics going on there. So, Emily, let's bring out what's inside of you. Emily, at this point in your life, and with all you're doing with Onward and Upward, Prosperity Pathways, and the Happy Neighborhood Project, and Transform You Media Network, Emily, what is your dream in your life? Where do you want to go in life? And with your job search and everything else that you're doing, where is Emily Gulmer going in this journey of your life, Emily? What are your thoughts? What would you like to share with your audience?
Um, well, hopefully, um, being in a position that I enjoy, and being able to do what I want to do is kind of the main gist of it at the moment.
When you say being able to do what you want to do, I'm sure you'd want to do lots of things, right? Because you're this awesome person. But what one thing do you want to do? Like if you can wave a magic wand and you can make it happen like tomorrow, what would that be?
I don't know if I have any one particular thing at the moment. But just kind of being in the good position and the area, or living in the area that I want to be in, and yeah, I don't know.
So what area do you want to be in?
Probably something similar to Madison and where I am at right now. Not some big huge city, but nothing too terribly small either. With some stuff going on and
Okay.
things I like doing.
And what kind of career do you see yourself in?
Doing something that involves helping others. and um, and kind of more behind the scenes, kind of like office
Mhm.
related something, not being the main person, like right when you walk in the door, or main communicator, but kind of the whole behind the like being the behind the kind of like the back office person, kind of helping with make whatever run as smoothly as possible.
Hmm. And when you say that you want to help people, in what, because there's lots of different ways to help people, but in what capacity do you want to help? Like, what makes you fill with joy knowing that you help the person do what?
This is probably not very specific at the moment, but just like helping somebody either move forward or accomplishing something, some goal or what they'd like to do in life. Or kind of like along the lines of when I was in the whole assisted living industry and helping people with like daily living activities. Just kind of about any way I could be of service to anybody.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is that you enjoy helping people live their best life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what would be one example that you can help them live that ideal life of theirs?
I guess kind of if I couldn't give specific examples at the moment, but like I like helping somebody with accomplishing some goal of theirs that they had, and like especially like moving towards where they want to get to in life. I guess sort of in a sense, kind of like maybe and sort of like what we do at Onward and Upward and Prosperity Pathways, with helping somebody find a position, and or housing. Because then that would help in like finding maybe a place to live and being able to do, like they would have the money to be able to do some things that they want to do. Because we are, I mean, we have our organization has helped some people get connected back with family members, and kind of bringing family members together with after we help them find a position. And so kind of something kind of like that.
I see. So you like the, from what I understand, you like working and seeing the, essentially, yeah, you like seeing the joy in others when you help them find that position, or reconnecting, like you said, with family members.
Yeah.
So now it sounds like you're doing what you like to do as far as work life goes. Now, what about fun?
I'm probably doing a little more like traveling
Hmm.
and I think that's the biggest thing right now. I'm about to sneeze. There we go.
Mhm. Okay. So, so, when I'm coaching some of my clients, one of the things that I utilize is something called the Wheel of Life. And in the Wheel of Life, we have a bunch of different categories. We have friends and family, significant other, personal growth, fun, leisure, your home environment, your career, money, health, just a bunch of different things on this wheel. And the idea is that we're going to give a number value to each of those categories. And it's called the Wheel of Life, the Wheel of Life, because it's a circle, right? And you're going to draw a line around each one of those numbers from 1 to 10. And we're going to see towards the end how round the center image is going to be, that center line, circle. And the idea behind that is that we don't want one number to be a 5 and the other one to be an 8 and then the other one to be a 2. They didn't want to be a 10. We wanted to be as even as possible. Ideally, we wanted a 10 on all of them, but life is such that sometimes we're at an 8, sometimes we're at a 5, sometimes we're at a 10. But we wanted to be as even going around as possible because we don't want a bumpy ride in life, right? We want a nice smooth ride.
Yeah, as much as possible.
Exactly. So I would like to set up a time, Emily, for you and I to work on that wheel of life together and see what areas of the wheel you'd like to maybe work on a little bit more, and what other areas are pretty okay for you. Would that be something that you're up for?
Yeah,
Awesome,
interested.
awesome, awesome. And to all you beautiful people out in Facebook, if you're also interested in working with me and doing the Wheel of Life, please reach out and I'd love to work on that with you. So that was a little bit of a coaching session, very small, but Kurt, what did you think of what coaching is like?
Well, I think, coaching, just strikes me as very valuable. I know, like in professional networking, we're meeting a lot of coaches out there. So your approach to coaching is distinctive, which is great because there's a lot of coaches out there. So it's a very personal thing. And it's a very, very particular, and so there's like a goodness of fit that is helpful between a client and a coach. And so for me, I actually don't claim to know for sure the experience of coaching. I mean, in some sense, because there's a difference between being a consultant and being a trainer and being a coach. There's all these learning experiences, but with a coach, like when I said before, helping people be the best version of themselves, I guess coaching is one way that that can be done. And in prior discussion, Denise, I gathered that that's how you're approaching your distinction of being a coach as compared to another role somebody could play, like having a consultant. Somebody could say, I need to accomplish something, and I'm going to go get a consultant to help me get to the endpoint I need to achieve. But my understanding, Denise, is that you're approaching coaching to be that resource people can tap from, that just channels through them, and you're giving them options. You're giving us options and choices, and you're giving us perspective that through discussion with you and activities, that we then can be better empowered to make the choices we need to make, and we can rethink our actions, and we can have more clarity on how what we're doing affects the outcomes we have, and create ways that we can have a tighter connection between how life actually turns out for us as compared to potential different approaches we could consider to get different results. So am I close in terms of your philosophy in coaching, Denise?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that I um, share with people when it comes to hiring a life coach or career coach is much like you said, you can have a trainer to help you learn, right? The trainer is essentially teaching you something. A consultant is generally telling you what you need to do in order to get to wherever it is that you want to get to. But a coach, we do things differently because when you're working with a coach, coaching is co-creative. So we are working together to figure out first what you want, how we can make that happen, and really strategize with each other and work together, um, bounce ideas off of each other. At the end of the day, though, the client is 100% in charge of what they're doing. So I may, as your coach, give you a suggestion, but it's still up to you to decide whether or not you want to do that. You can very well tell me, no, Denise, that's not for me. Let's think of something else. Right? So for example, if I were to coach someone on improving their speaking skills, right? And I might say, well, you might want to join the Toastmasters, right? And now, for those that don't know about Toastmasters, you do have to speak in front of this group. It's a small group, but still, if you're really nervous about speaking publicly, that really might not be for you. So I could suggest it, but if you're really scared to do it, you're not going to do it. So the idea is to push you a little bit beyond your comfort zone, but it needs to be just enough that you still feel comfortable to do it, right? So as a coach, I commit to motivate you, to be your accountability partner, and help guide you towards the life you want. And you, as the client, commit to do the work necessary to get your desired outcome. And that's the biggest difference between a coach, a consultant, and a trainer. I hope that explains the difference in a succinct way and clear.
Yeah. Okay. Can I understand the difference?
Awesome.
Kurt, did that make sense to you?
It sure did. And Denise, you offered that that we can all reach out to you and kind of get a little closer glimpse on what Live Creatively is all about and your background and what you bring to the table and what it could mean for us out here and our audience. Would you be able to leave your website, maybe social media references and ways that if people are a little captivated, a little teased maybe about where this Live Creatively journey can go, that you could be their tour guide on what may be next for them at Live Creatively?
Yes, I can definitely do that. I'm actually going to share that right here. Just hold on one moment. The camera is not being user-friendly today. But in the meantime, I will just let you know that you can reach out to me by, you can email me at denise@livecreativelyinc.com. That's Denise at Livecreativelyinc.com. And you can also text me at 516-847-4581, 516-847-4581. And I definitely look forward to hearing from you and hoping to work with you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But heard you any last thoughts before? So I think we're getting to about the end of our hour.
Well, Emily, I guess I'm curious about your thoughts. I appreciate that you were so gracious and generous to share a little bit of your insight and give us some reactions with Denise's guidance. And Denise has an offer here that you guys will be doing a session offline to continue that process. But what are your reflections, Emily, about Denise's role, and maybe explain how long you and Denise have known each other, and kind of what appreciation and acknowledgement you have for what Denise is doing as a coach with Live Creatively, and anything you learned today.
Well, thank you, Ms. Denise, for being on here today.
You're very welcome.
So when did I meet you? I think it was earlier. This more at the beginning of the year. It's more at the beginning of the year, end of last year. I don't remember exactly. I just know it's been a while. But it's all been good. Thank you for the offer for a coaching session.
You're very welcome. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, a lot has happened since I met you.
Hope all good things, I hope.
Yeah. Seems like it's been a long time, but probably hasn't. Here, when did we make it? Was it earlier this year or the end of last year? Trying to remember.
You just said Dave was. I stepped away from my computer for a moment. Did you say Dave?
No. I was trying to remember exactly when we met. Was it met Denise? Was it earlier this year, or was it kind of the end? Earlier this year, right?
Yeah, I think I loosely knew you, Denise, like Emily's saying, across the ending last year and into this year. And then when we were forming HMP Ability, kind of talking to Edwin about it, April, May, June, and so forth. In there, he asked me about you, Denise, and you already had presence known. So I would say, for whatever reason, coming into the United Nations International Day of Happiness, well, that was, this past year in March, that March 20th event. I didn't really know you real well to say like I know you, before that event. But then I think it was a result of working on HMP Ability together that we really came to know each other, which really just takes us back about 6 months ago. That type of thing. So does that sound about right to you, Denise? Or did you know me better than I knew you? Or kind of what's your recollection, Denise, in terms of when you know this guy that you found out is also Zeke,
Yes, Zeke. So I think it was a little bit more than 6 months, because I've seen you in Worldwide, HMP Worldwide, about a year ago, and I've seen you periodically throughout. And I remember always hearing this voice. You have a very radio sounding voice. And although I may not have known who Kurt was, every time I heard that voice, I'm like, there's that voice again. He sounds like he should be on the radio. I wonder if he's a DJ. So, yeah, very distinct voice, Kurt. Very distinct voice.
Yes, you do, Kurt. It's a very radio voice. Yeah, I thought this was Kurt must have stepped away again, but I thought this was a good conversation today.
It was, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
Hope everyone in Facebook enjoyed it, and we look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for inviting me, Emily, Kurt.
You're welcome.
You are very welcome. I didn't step away. I thought maybe you two were going to go on and on talking about me. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, well, I know.
All right,
Well, we were
so
just talking about your radio voice, Kurt.
well, I'm glad I could serve the situation with the power of my voice. I always say, hear me now and believe me later. It's all good stuff, whether you know it or not. If you ever have any doubts, just ask me. I'll tell you.
And if we doubt you, ask Zeke.
Without me as Zeke, what do you mean?
No, if we doubt you, should we then go and ask Zeke?
Oh, ask Zeke. Oh boy, yeah. Watch out for the alter ego Zeke. You know, Zeke keeps you guessing, folks. You know, you're always at the edge of your seat with Zeke. You know.
Yeah, or should we go to Uso and Wally to ask them?
I've got a whole smorgasbord of personalities, folks. Which one you want? You know, I've been the motivational speaker and many other characters. So I'm like a walking drama production all on my own. You know, there's like the one-man band. I'm like the one-man theater production. How about that, folks?
Yeah, every day. The walking theater every day.
There you go. There you go. Shakespeare.
Theater/radio man for.
Yeah, Shakespeare would be proud. I'll tell you what. And my middle name, by the way, is William. So I don't know if it has anything to do with William Shakespeare, but I'll take it.
Maybe your mom named you William after him or something.
Yeah, she told me I was named after my great grandfather, but you may have something there. You know, so who knows? Maybe my mom didn't want to kind of get off on a tangent like that. Never told me, but could be. Can't confirm or deny it. My mother's deceased, so we'll never know.
Well, somebody has a story in your family, and we will get down to it.
There you go. And speaking of getting down, we're going to get down tonight, right? It's
Absolutely.
yeah. What are we, about 4 hours away?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 hours, 45 minutes. But I guess Karen, want to thank Jace for coming or being our guest, as well as whoever is tuned in to the YouTube and Facebook pages. And we encourage you guys to come back next week and tune in again. And do you want to give an ending?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to keep working with Emily here to see if she'll ever end one of these podcasts, but I'll step in here with my radio voice because apparently it doesn't totally suck, which is good to know. So again, my name is Kurt Roskoff. Everybody out there, if you want to hear more of this radio voice, just give me a call. I'll put you to sleep. 262-372-1SKI. That's 262-372-1754. And if you're not really keen on needing to hear me again, just go ahead and send me an email. Kurt, K-U-R-T, at thedisabilitychannel.us. Oh, and with that phone number, you can text me too, 262-372-1754. And let's go ahead and take a look at transformu.us. That's the letter U, transformu, the letter U.us, and also transformubroadcast.com. Transform You Podcast, plural with an S at the end. Transformupodcast.com. All the good stuff there to show you the background to our podcast ally, headed up by our podcast mogul, Marcus Hart. Big thanks to him, because we wouldn't be doing this if he wasn't living creatively and creating an enterprise that started with a radio show, riverwestradio.com. Both he and I have been doing that for 5 years, and Marcus actually created with Transforming Media Network a radio station of his own. So we've got a lot of resources here for media, and like Emily said, we appreciate what you do on social media. And with that, I think that's a wrap, because everybody's so awesome. We'll just end on a high and say we're celebrating. Congratulations, Dr. Bliven, for being today, November 5th, Dr. Bliven, for the first time ever in her life, and now forever.
Woohoo, Dr. Bliven.